What's up, YouTube? This is Brian at the Movies here, bringing guys a new movie review. Today I'm reviewing Jeepers Creepers Reborn. This came out in 2022. This is directed by Timo Valenzuela, produced by Jake Seal, and also co-written by Jake Seal and Michael Argo. And it stars Sidney Craven and Sidney Craven, Amon Adams, and Jaru Benjamin, I believe, who plays the Creeper in this. This is the fourth film in the Jeepers Creepers franchise. I have not talked about the other three on my channel. I will get to them eventually. But there's obviously the behind the scenes with the director. Is kind of hard to even really want to talk about those first three just because of that, the nature of them. And really understood because it's someone who should not have been able to make any of those movies. So that's the unfortunate thing. So with Jeepers Creepers Reborn, it was a whole new team and a whole new writing and team. And it was supposed to start with a new trilogy, which is they're still trying to make a fifth one, but there's behind the scenes issues, especially with the last film. And yeah, there's a lot of, and yeah, from what I heard, I remember one of the producers on the film was just not really well liked and gave people a hard time on set. So it's a really difficult, this is a franchise that's just a mess in terms of just finding someone who can actually do this justice. Now look, so Reborn, and this is a 4K digibook actually, which is, I think, is pretty cool. I'll just show you and get some, it's a German thing, so there's a hardcover that's not a digibook, but it's hard to get because they only made a certain amount. I don't know who has a copy of it, because that's the one I would prefer, just because this digibook doesn't, digibooks are very, very sensitive, so you want to be careful with how much you move them around. But I know, get into the movie. I rewatched this just to get a better idea of what to get fresh new to get a better remembrance of the movie, because I did like this movie when I went to the theaters, and that was with the downside of seeing stuff before my screening of the movie came out, seeing very heavily all negative trashing the movie. Which, look, I'll get this out of the way. I don't blame anyone who hates this movie or dislikes it. I'm not going to go as far as this is worse than Jeepers Creepers 3, because the expectations should not have been better than 1, even 2. I think, especially when you don't have the person who actually started this franchise, and that, to me, that's one of my biggest takeaways with this movie, is that the reason why I found enjoyment in this was because this is a whole new team. This is a whole new other thing. At this point, I feel like it's more of a soft reboot than a really straight up sequel to the other three, which I don't mind at this point in that situation, especially coming off of 3 and how kind of disappointing that was. But there's so many issues there. This movie is messy, and it really goes by the visuals, the CGI. The director, I remember when for its theatrical run, did a video before the movie saying that, look, COVID really kind of screwed us over, and it definitely, I could tell. And apparently the budget of this movie was like $2 million, and I could tell it felt like that was. This movie, if you look by the effects or the stuff they used for the CGI, it definitely doesn't feel like they had a lot of money. And that the $2 million must have been because of having to go from the UK to Louisiana at times. So that's that. So maybe that's part of it. But you definitely can say there's movies like Blood and Honey 1 and 2 cost a total of $435,000 roughly, if you add both budgets together, according to Scott Chambers, based on those, and compared to this 2 million, like those two felt like they were able to do so much more with more limited budget than this was. Again, maybe that budget got ramped up because of COVID, but I can see where COVID could have screwed this production over, especially with the effects, because there's so much green screen, there's so much of that, so much of virtual real. It felt like virtual reality stuff. Like, I seen behind the scenes clips of this, and where they just put someone on they have the full body, and they just have them, and they just put them in on the screen, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know where you're thinking this is gonna make people like this movie. It does take you out to a degree, because it goes back, it mixes where they were on location compared to when they're not on location. It's really frustrating. And this is as someone who had found entertainment in this. I do still like this over Jeepers Creepers 3. It's hard to put this above other than Jeepers Creepers 3 because of those CJ things. The acting throughout this film, I think, was decent, for the most part. I think the kind of the beard guy, the redneck, I guess you would say. I think he's the one that, dialogue wise, and the way he talks sometimes, kind of just didn't feel natural, and just felt like really, no, I didn't buy him in certain things. Everyone else, I saw some, okay, they're trying, there's some frustration with character choice, some things with the characters, and like the bedroom scene with Chase and his girlfriend. I think when he was getting disappointed about her not wanting to do the cosplay, I'm like, dude, I was like, man, they didn't write him well in terms of like you need a better response, or you need something that where he was going to dress up too, and he's like just going to wear a horror hound shirt. I get it, they're going to horror hound, but I mean, come on, it's supposed to be both of you. Like, you're really trying to force her to do that. But I mean, whatever the case, I like, the cosplay dressing up scene was fine. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it feels too meta, I guess, in that way for this kind of film. So that's the scene I was like, I wish, and even in that hotel scene, there's stuff that was green screened. They had a green screen in there, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I can see how hard it was for people to find any entertainment in it. And again, this is a visual. It's visually, that's my biggest flaw with this film, was visually, is because there's so much green screen, and just it's so noticeable. And as someone who likes really visually stunning movies and cinematography and stuff like that, it is hard to. And I like the color grading when those scenes, even when they are not, even if they're the CGI stuff, I like the color grading. I like that it's at night. But man, you can tell the night and day difference of when they were on location compared to where they're like having to use green screen, and it just sucks. I'm not going to mince words about that. But again, I think there's decent acting. They're trying something different here. There's this cult involved. The look of the creature. He's much more of a feral creature. I think the look is definitely unique. I'm not going to say I think the makeup of the face, I think, is just like I said, it has a kind of, I've seen some of like the look of the comic books. I think that's kind of what the look they were going for comic book wise. Now I get the size of him is not the same as Jonathan Breck from the first 3 films, and I get that. It's hard to go from one person to someone new in a 4th film like this. It is difficult. I think I appreciate what he was giving. I think it's just, again, they're different versions of the Creeper. Again, I think he's supposed to get stronger each film he appears until we see that 5th one. I don't know if we will ever see it. Again, I didn't think we were going to see a 4th one, so, who knows. But I think the actors, mostly, I think they were trying. And it's hard to say how much fun they really did have on set. So it's just, and the guy who directed this did a movie called, I think, Iron Sky, which was about Nazis in space or something like that. So I knew the expectations. So I think that's why when I went into this, I was not expecting high art or high everything. And I still got some gore, some good kills, some decent kills, some something I think entertaining. When you watch Jeepers Creepers 3, and this was shorter, about 10, 12, 13 minutes shorter than Jeepers Creepers 3, and that movie just feels like, what the fuck were, like, I'll say this. Look, the one scene in Jeepers Creepers 3 where he gets impaled by his own truck with the eye popping out, that's literally the worst thing in this franchise. I'm sorry. Yes, that's even with the whatever they use to the green screen and whatever other ways they made this really cheap, because there are scenes where it gets too bright, and that it unfocused. Someone's out of focus. It looks like it's unfocused. It looks like kind of 3D effect, where if you're not wearing the glasses, it kind of is out of focus, blurry. And then it's really weird, some of these scenes. And I know I'm in a more negative route, doing the negative, but I feel like I need to talk about that. So, but again, like I said, I think the acting is decent. I think the makeup on the Creeper, for what they were going for, I think is decent. I think the bottom half, I think because he was so skinny, but again, they were going for the feral look, and he's being reborn. That's awakened and then reborn. He gets reborn at the end. Again, the graveyard stuff, I think if that was able to be, at least that could have been. I wish the graveyard stuff was, a lot of it that was more on location, but of course they didn't do that. Once you got into the house, that's where a lot of the action and horror takes place, and that's where it gets fun, I feel like. Whereas when you're not in the Creeper house, I think that's where you're like it's kind of slow, and there's just so much green screen stuff, like with the cars as well. Or when you could see outside when she gets out of the car and she has to go puke, and right when you could just tell that green screen. And that's what's so frustrating, is because if you have a decent amount of money, that's what you need to make that looks good. Just shots that are just not like even that are not. It's just those kind of things, like you're just. It's not work. Like it's just. I know. I'm rambling, but it's just. How are you not able to know that doesn't look that great? You need to do a bit more. And obviously, didn't have money to be able to do what they probably would have liked to do to make look better. And yeah, so yeah. Ultimately, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, while I don't think it's the worst of the franchise, I think it's the third. I think it is definitely better than Jeepers Creepers 3. Character-wise, I like the characters here. I think they're the kind of characters. There's a couple likable ones, or the couple. At least they have a couple that you're trying to root for. Though there's some issues there. I'm not saying there isn't. With Jeepers Creepers 2, most of those characters you just do not like. I'll say Ray Wise. So maybe in the opening sequence probably has a higher level, definitely has a higher level than Reborn. But for I'm just saying this, it is not the worst of the franchise. I think it's far and away better than 3. Especially when you consider this is directed by someone who did low budget sci-fi channel movies. The guy who did the first 3 Jeepers Creepers. His films used to get produced by Francis Ford Coppola. The first 2 Jeepers Creepers were produced by Francis Ford Coppola. So I don't want to be like, I am not defending 3, because there's a higher expectation, and I don't care if you had a low budget to work with. You understood what what you did. He knows what he did. That's the reason why nobody wanted to work with him, and I think that's why he wasn't going to see any money, real money, to go to Jeepers Creepers 3. So he had to, find a way to make it work, and obviously he was not able to. Like, I remember trying to be fair on the film, but over the years, it's just it just doesn't work because there's no gore. The producers told him you can't see him eat people, which is fucking bogus. I don't understand. But yeah, in the end, I think not many are gonna enjoy this movie. Sadly, I think, or find any entertainment. I think you can have it so bad it's good kind of feel, but I don't know if there's not that many truly fans of this, and it look, and I get it. I don't think it's not a movie that's gonna be beloved. Obviously, I don't think. I'm happy I was able to find entertainment in it, even though I know how flawed this movie is, especially with the way visually, where it's like messy and just ugly, just because it doesn't feel like they finished, or like it's just so noticeable with the CGI. But then you have like scenes where they filmed on location, and it's just frustrating. Yeah, I don't know what else more I can say. But yeah, ultimately I would give this. I give this about a 3.2 out of 5. 3.2 out of 5. Probably a 3 out of 5. I had this 4, but I'm gonna be more realistic on how ultimately this is my like 4th viewing of the film, acknowledging more of the downside of this film. Like it really stood out even more now. And yeah, I did watch it in 4K, so maybe that did make it even more noticeable. But yeah, it's something that I'm like, okay, I'm acknowledging this. I know it, but I still was entertained, especially that third act where you're in the creeper's house and you get kills, you get some blood, you get to see him eat a brain. So I had some fun. There's elements here that could have been really great, though, if the producers are not, if just everyone was on the same page and it was just not. I don't know what the hell is going on behind the scenes with this and the people behind it. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this. Let me know what you guys thought of Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I'm pretty sure most of you hated this film, or you guys had some fun just laughing at this movie. But I enjoyed it. I say it's better than Jeepers Creepers 3 at least. That's what I'll say. So yeah, this is Brandon at the Movies, signing off. Peace.